year. And so we sold like 135. And here we
Oh,
go.
wow. Here we go. Okay, here we go.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us today. It is my sincere pleasure to introduce you to Jen du Plessis. If you don't know, and I think everybody knows Jen, but just in case you don't know Jen, she is known as America's mortgage mentor and really as one of the leading experts in creating world-class teams. And Jen's done over $1 billion in mortgage originations, which just blows me away. And today you're going to teach us all about how to be limitless, Jen. So I'm super excited to have you on the show.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here too. I'm just laughing. Oh, he's all settled in, which is good.
I
That's
love
good.
Bailey. Hey,
I'm
Bailey. Hopefully he won't be doing spins while we're having our
no, he's good.
conversation. But
He's good. No, I'm just happy to be here. Thank you so much for bringing me on. And as you know, I've just spent the last 5 hours doing the first day of our Limitless event online. So I'm a little hyped up and excited though. That's what happens when you do these. It's just so exciting.
well, I love that we got the hyped up, Jen. I've never
Yeah.
met you to not be hyped up, quite
Yeah.
frankly. You and I've met in person a couple of times, online a ton of times. But I'd love you to just share with those that are watching some of the conversations that you had today and tell us about day one of Limitless before we let folks know how they can join you on day two.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I mean, every day has a theme. So today's theme was mindset, right? And clarity. So we talked a lot about core values personally and professionally. I'm trying to remember everything that we talked about today. We talked about my 5 principles to cracking the top producer code.
Nice.
We talked about gaining trust in communities.
Mm.
We had just a really, really good day, and we had breakout sessions so people could hear from one another and find out what everyone's weaknesses and strengths are and pull from that. And it was just a really fun day. It was very encouraging, very opening for people. Their eyes are really opened. And I'm excited. I mean, that's how they all left. They came in very varying, like frustrated, overwhelmed, defeated,
Yep.
pessimist, all that,
Mm.
and left with inspired, motivated, excited, can't wait for the next thing. I'm glad. So
That's
hopefully we
awesome.
can keep that momentum going.
What a blessing you are. That's so fantastic. And I know a lot of these folks are coming from the mortgage space. Is it about half of your audience, or what percentage would you say there today was from the mortgage industry?
And now today, I would say there was probably 95% mortgage space, right? We had a few people from overseas. We had someone from a divorce mentor from Cape Town, South Africa.
Oh,
So we
wow.
had, we had some, great people. We had another coach from another industry, and I think she was from UK. So we
Nice.
had, a nice mix of people. And I always look at what my audience is. I think that's important, right? You want to know who your audience is so that you can tailor everything to them. So kept it as generic as possible, but had little moments where we had to answer specific questions. We had some realtors on there as well. So we had, just a nice mix.
And what would you say was the most impactful as you kind of heard from people? What was making the most difference? What was landing for them? What was really going on in their world? What was on their minds?
Yeah, I think the most impactful is that people lack clarity.
Mm.
They lack clarity and vision. They, we're still. It just amazes me. I'm March 1st. It'll be 40 years that I've been in the mortgage space, and I know now that
It
it's
started when you were
2023.
3?
Yeah, I wish. It's been good to me. It's been good to me. But there's still this sense of, showing up and throwing up. It's leading with products. The first I popped
Mm.
into a couple of breakout rooms. I had everyone introducing themselves and saying, pick an adjective and a noun to introduce yourselves, and then say, what are you best known for? Right. And it was like, I'm a veteran loan officer. I was like, okay, that's not what I wanted. But, I was looking for something like impact mentor, that type of thing. And so everyone kind of went into this title, which to me is a destination. It doesn't discern, what makes you different. And then what I'm best known for. And I thought, for loving my children, for, working until, the cows come home, something like that. And instead I'm best known for doing VA and FHA and conventional loans. Right. And I still think that that is an issue in our industry. And I think it's in all sales industries, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so interesting because we were just having a sales call the other day, and I said, really, when you're talking to other people, you want to be more interested than focused on being interesting, right? Because when you're interested in somebody, you're having a conversation, but you're really asking questions more than telling them about yourself. Because if you're in that consultative sales type of a situation, it's not about you. And people forget that, don't they?
Yeah, I love that saying of interested, versus interesting. I've heard that before too. And I heard it for years, and I didn't quite. I mean, I understood it. I definitely understood it. But there was a year when my buzzword was curiosity.
Oh, great one.
Be curious. Right. And when I learned that I wanted it to be about curiosity, it was easier for me to just be curious. And so I have this method, I call it the ... method in everything that I do. Okay, I made a presentation. I did that, or I presented to somebody, period. No, ... Now what? Now what could I do? Could I meet everybody? Could I carve out another little thing? Right. And I think that goes along the lines with curiosity when you're meeting people and you're learning about them is, where did you go to school? Oh, okay, that's good. Next question. Instead, why did you go to that school? How far away was it from home? What did you like about that school? Did you play any sports? What did you study? Did you like what you studied? Did you meet your spouse there? Right. Just the ... of that is how curiosity goes. And I think that people think that mailing something is nurturing their database, and that's neglecting your database. So I said, if you're going to mail some things, then follow up by nurturing and asking these curiosity questions, and following up with them. So yeah, you're right. It's amazing. And I think that is where people, I mean, especially in this market, this is the first time in 20 years that people really have to sell, and they don't have the relationships to sell. And then I wonder about the sales skills because they've just been so dormant for so long.
Yeah, before we started this call, you and I were talking about relationships and just how important they are. And I think it's a lost art to many, especially to the younger generations. And my kids, I've trained them on how to be relational, and so they know how. But most people, especially the younger generation, they're so used to being on their phone and doing everything by text or digital that a lot of them don't know how to look people in the eye and have a true conversation, do they?
Yeah, I think they do with their friends sometimes, but, in business, that's a big deficit, and when you look at, and it's one of the things that I talk about too, is these 5 keys to rapid success. And one of them is that, most people, so if you're stuck at 5 or 6 figures and you want to go to 7, most people think that they can do it all on their own and think that, a shiny object's going to solve the problem for them. And I someone said today, oh, that's so funny. Shiny object syndrome is an SOS. It's like, help me, right? It's a sign that somebody needs help. And somebody said, that's so funny because, okay, it's SOS, but yeah, it's a sign for help. And I think that what 7-figure people do is that they realize they have to surround themselves with community, right? That we have to bird dog one another. We have to be looking for ways that we can help each other. And quite frankly, we don't have enough time in the day. We don't have enough energy. We don't have enough, time. We just don't. As human beings, we don't. And if we can find a better way to attract clients rather than chase clients, it's going to save us a lot of time. And that's how you do it, is by creating beautiful relationships where you bring people closer into your circle so that you're thought of more often. And I love doing that with others because when they come in closer to my circle, I think of them more often and they get more opportunities with me. Same thing.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, I think about you all the time, quite frankly. You're probably right. Picking up the signals because I'm telling my team how awesome you are. And you talked about community. HOA.com, we're all about community because, and you and I talk a lot about referral partnerships and putting our business together. And too many people are out there only talking about what they do, and they're not edifying their partners. They're not looking for opportunities to serve and to connect. And, that's one of the things I love doing is who can I connect you with that's going to make a difference to both people? And the beauty is, if I connect you with somebody else, every time you get together, who are you talking about?
Yep. You.
Me, it's going to come up naturally every time. Hey, have you talked to
Right.
Jen? How's she
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah.
Right? Every single time. So you sort
Yeah.
of become famous as being that super connector, don't you?
Yeah, well, I mean, my one of my fascination, well, you don't know what the fascination of it, but I said impact mentor, right? America's mortgage mentor, which I didn't coin. In fact, somebody just coined me and said, "You're Mrs. Action. You're Mrs.
Oh,
Action." I'm like, "Oh, I'm known as," and I'm going, "Can I be Miss Action? It's easier to say." But anyway,
yeah.
but I think that's what we have to have our eyes and ears open for what makes us unique and different. But someone had actually introduced me and said, "Let me introduce you to Jen. She is an intuitive connector." And I went,
Oh,
"Oh,
wow.
that's kind of cool." And I
Yeah.
said, "What's that all mean?" And I started, thinking through it. And what it really means is that intuitively, I draw people in. It's like, who can I connect you with? And here's another, and here's another. And it's just second nature for me to do that. But I don't think it was always like that. I think at some point I had to learn it, and I'm sure I did. I just don't remember where. Right?
Well, and you're constantly learning is one of the things I love about
Yeah.
you, right? You're always not only educating others, but learning from others as well. And that's one of the things that I've really respected about you. Obviously, I've met you in a couple of different settings, first in a mastermind, then at
Mhm.
one of your book launches. And I've just seen you surround yourself with greatness every time I've been with you.
Well, thank you. That's so nice.
Oh, it's
Thank
true.
you.
And it's that five people that we surround ourselves, right? Again,
Yeah.
that's why I
Yeah.
reached out to you the other day, because I'm just
Yeah.
such a Jen Duplessis fan. And I want everybody that is part of the HOA.com world to understand who you are, what you're doing, and the impact that you deliver, because what you're doing is continually elevating people's mindset and
Yeah.
skill set so that they make more income, more influence, and more impact.
Yeah, absolutely beautiful. My motto is mindset plus mechanics equals momentum.
Oh, I love that.
It's right there.
I love it. Now, you and I were talking about systems today too, because that was
Yeah.
one of the things that you said came up on your limitless conversation today. And so, what are the systems that have really made the biggest difference to you, and what are you teaching and preaching these days?
Yeah, I would say, I mean, look, we all need systems, in the mortgage space. There's no question we need
Yeah.
it. And I think, it was funny to hear today that a lot of people still don't have their perfect loan process. And I'm thinking, my
Mhm.
gosh, after all the loans they had the best year they ever had, during COVID, that process still isn't written out. It was just,
Mhm.
it was something that they just had to survive with, right? And so they didn't write it, they just survived through it, and they're still saying, gosh, that's something that I need to do. So I think that one is super, super important. And the reason why I do is, doing over $1 billion in loans, I know how it goes. And anyone who's done $10 million in loans, they know how it goes, right? So why are we waiting for our clients to contact us? So let's lay out our system so that they don't have to call us and they can have that better experience. And so I think that system is really important. But my favorite system is the follow through system. I have a system called Partner Impression Program, or PIP. I always have acronyms. And what Partner Impression does, years ago, and I think this still happens today. We just gather. We're just like a bunch of little squirrels. We just run around and we gather nuts and we gather business cards and we throw people in a database, but we don't do anything with them. But the bigger the database, it must be better. It's a numbers game. Let's throw everything against the wall. But I realized that, if I pulled up, I think at the time I had like 5,800 people in my database. I'd pull up a name. I have no clue. I have no clue.
Yeah.
And I thought, no, less is more. This whole adage of less is more really, really works. And so I went through and I just deleted everybody. I didn't know the name. If I saw a name that, was, okay, bye. I don't work with people that complicate me. I only work with people that complement. So I just got rid of those. And then I reached out to everybody and said, hey, let's have a redo. Let's have a conversation. Let's see how, whether or not we can really work together and be complementary. But what I
Mhm.
found out is that so often, especially loan officers, we do one and done.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
met him, I won the prize. I won the meeting with the realtor, right? I won it and went there. I show up, I throw up. I don't know anything about them. I hope they send me. They say they're going to put me on some name list and they don't know anything about me. I'm a brown paper bag and and I'm just like everybody else. And so what I started saying is, well, you know what? If I, woo them for a
Mhm.
period of time after meeting with them and put my money where my mouth is, put my time where my mouth is, put my actions where my mouth is, and I woo them, then after a certain period of time, they're either in or they're out. And then I don't have to mess with them anymore. I can focus on the people who are giving me business, and I can give all of me to them. And that's when I developed the Partner Impression Program. And it's 100 days. It's not one day every day. It's 100 days. Probably, I think it's like 17 or 18 different actions, but it's actions that put my money where my mouth is, showing them the value of the relationship and how I want to be a partner, not someone who walks in and says, gimme, gimme, gimme.
That's so important and impressive, quite frankly. And those 17 touches over those 100 days make a difference, right? Because really what you're talking about is quality over quantity.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you have to follow up and follow through. And I love your Partner Impression Program. That's brilliant. Pip, pip, hooray. So,
yes, I love that.
Because really you have to invest in relationship. And I think over these last couple of years, with all the refis that were happening, I was talking to Todd Bookspan the other day. He said people were just collecting money like it was falling from the sky, right? Because they had so much business that they neglected their most important relationships. And if you're listening right now and you're in the mortgage business or a realtor and you haven't taken the time to invest in the relationships, do what Jen's talking about right now. Take the time, identify who are your top 10, 20, 100 people that you want to build strong referral partnerships with, and that'll pay dividends, won't it, Jen?
Oh, yeah, because, my entire practice was built on my focusing on 22 people. And I'll bring that back to 21, because one of those people who was one of my best partners was one of my clients. Right.
Nice.
And so that's not like the business thing. He's a TSA guy. In fact, he runs the whole TSA. It was his baby. And he would just refer me people from the TSA all the time. So he was my number one client. But I put him in my top apostles. I call them my apostles. Right. And I mean, how easy is it? If you have 12 people that give you one referral a month and they're good relationships, so your conversion ratio is higher. You have 12 people giving you 12 referrals a month, then you're guaranteed to close 10 transactions per month, 10 families per month. That's 120 a year. How many people are closing 120? Right?
I love that you're saying this. I'm going to just share my screen because I was literally teaching this a couple of weeks ago, Jen.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to teach this tomorrow. Let's see. So literally, and we can talk this through, right? But if you just have one referral partner giving you one deal a month, that's 52,000 in your business. And I learned this when I was in the mortgage business because I had one realtor that sent me over 50,000 in a year. Right? Yeah. And if they give you just one deal a quarter, it's 17,000. And look what happens as you get more and more referral partners.
Yep. I mean, it's a numbers game. That's all there is a number game. And that's why 22 worked for me, right? 22 people that I focused my time and attention. And the minimum requirement to work with me was that they had to give me at least 2 referrals a month.
That's
right?
awesome.
2 quality referrals.
That's
quality
awesome.
referrals per month. They could give me 8, and I had plenty of them, who did that. But they had to give me 2 in order for me to give you what you're looking for. So I will be available on a weekend. I will do an open house with you. I'll do a broker open with you. I'll sponsor something. But that was the cost to pay. It wasn't, give me one, I'll give you one, give me one. And by the way, when a referral came up, it went to one of them. It didn't go to someone who I hope I can get business from.
Right.
I would never do that to any of my people. But, if 2 people are giving you 2 referrals a month, now you're at 400. Oh my gosh. Now I can't even do it. It's so funny when I do this. I'm like, 288 referrals a year. And even if you closed half of them, you would still be in the top 1% of loan officers in the country. It's just that easy. It's that easy, but everyone makes it so hard. It's funny that Todd mentioned, about everybody, money was falling from the sky. I've got a screen, a slide that I show, and I show diamonds falling, right? And the diamonds falling from the sky. And then now what we have is all these diamonds are on the floor, and we're either stepping over them because we're not paying attention to them, or stepping on them and crushing the relationship. Wow. Right. And when you, so there's a book called Acres of Diamonds, and it's about a guy, and I'm sure but he, wanted to go and find diamonds, and he traveled all over the world, sold his property, spent all this money, came back to his town poor and hanging his head low, and found out that the person he sold the property to, all he had to do was dig. And the acres of diamonds were there. The diamond mine was right under his feet. And we had these acres of diamonds. And to drop one diamond into water, the ripple effect that that one diamond can have for you is limitless.
So powerful, so powerful. And I have this conversation with people all the time. I say, the reality is you have people that you've been friends with for 5, 10, 20 years that are serving homeowners every day, whether they're a painter, a plumber, a home inspector, insurance agent, financial planner, but you've never approached them about being a referral partner with you. Why would you not activate that relationship where you've got the know, like, trust factor? It's already built. I realize it may not be a top producing realtor, and if that's who you want, then go after them with intentionality and go add value, just like you're saying. So because that is a diamond, but just like you're saying, you're stepping over or stepping on all of these diamonds that you've had in your life for years that you've never activated. And it just boggles my mind, quite frankly, Jen.
Yeah. Well, it boggles my mind with realtors because they don't do anything other than the home services people to take care of the service on the house. But if they don't have a house, they don't communicate with them to find out what's going on. It's just funny. And I'm sorry, realtors that are watching, but it is just kind of comical because we make it so difficult. This whole industry makes it so much difficult. I think the reason, people have their binoculars on so much that they don't see what's around them, and they're looking for the next deal, the next deal, the next deal. And they're just not, take your binoculars off. Yes, we want new business, but know that you've got this underneath you. The biggest objection I hear from loan officers as to why they don't expand beyond realtors, which still boggles my mind because the average realtor makes so much less than a loan officer, and yet we're all waiting. When are they going to send me something, right? They do fewer transactions, right?
Yeah.
And but one of the biggest objection I hear from loan officers is that they don't know how to talk to financial planners. And I'm going, wait a minute, you're in the financial services industry.
100%.
You're supposed to be a mortgage professional. Right. And I never say that someone has a business. They always have a practice because I elevate myself up to the expert, to the doctor, right? The physician. And so I'm like, wait a minute, I don't get this. You're in the financial services. Well, the thing is, they're used to quoting rates. They're not used to the strategy approach, right? The consultative selling approach to things. And, I heard it today. I popped in that room and the first thing that person said was, she said, oh, I'm a mortgage lender and I'm best known for VA, FHA, and conventional loans. And I was like, and that's it. That's all that they had to offer. Right. And so where is that education, and you and I actually talked about this on my podcast, where we were talking about being a student of the market. When I asked the question, when the Fed started raising rates, I said, well, what's the Fed funds rate? And people would start giving numbers, and it was like an auction. It was like, blah, blah. And I said, no, that's not what I'm asking. What is the Fed fund rate?
Right.
And nobody knew.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they really haven't studied their industry.
Rates. Nobody, even arms now. Some people have been in the business for 20 years and never sold an arm.
Yeah, that's true, isn't it?
Right. So that's what I think needs to happen. I'm going to be speaking at an event next week for loan officers, and it's all about education, not only educating ourselves, but educating our referral partners and our clients. Be that voice of reason.
We talk a lot about being that expert, right? Because when you're in the expert status, just like we're doing here, we're both adding value to our respective communities right now, right? Yeah. And we're elevating our status in their eyes because we're adding so much value to them. And the more that you can do that, whether you're a loan officer, a realtor, financial advisor, whatever industry you're in, the more that you can educate and impact and empower people, the more that they're going to want to seek you out and do business with you. Isn't that true, Jen?
Yeah. Let them chase you. Don't go chasing them.
That's so funny you say that. We're literally doing a masterclass tomorrow. And I know you have a personal URL, which is hoa.com/Jen. So if you're watching this now, you can go to hoa.com/Jen if you're in the mortgage space and learn about what we're doing at hoa.com with our hyper-local social farming strategy. But it's all about elevating your expert status and localizing your marketing, because so many people are just out there trying to broadcast and promote to everyone instead of going deep with a few important relationships. And I know that's part of the strategy that you teach.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. I call them richer relationships. And it's not because of money. They're deeper, they're richer, they're more meaningful, they have impact, they're emotional. They're lifelong. They're
Yeah.
lifelong. The fact that I've been out of lending, as an originator for 4 years, going on 5, I still have referrals come to me. I still have referrals come to me, and I'm like, well, where did they think I've been? Because I haven't communicated like I used to. And I still have relationships that are happening, that the relationships that I created with the lenders and others, I still have those relationships. I still have them. And I've been to holiday parties. I've been passing the baton, by the way, with my daughter,
Have
because
you?
I got
Nice.
invited. Yeah, I got invited by one of my family law attorneys, that I worked with. And she said, come to my Christmas party. And I said, well, come on, honey, I'm passing the baton, and introduced them. And now they're working. And of course, other financial planners that I worked with were at that same event. Now they're working together. And, those lifelong relationships are what make people happy. I mean, it's like having a puppy that, you live longer because you have a dog or a cat or something like that. I think you live longer when you have these beautiful relationships. And I know it for a fact. I know that for a fact, because the 5 zones in the world, one of it is community. Community is what keeps us alive.
Well, it's so fun too, and fulfilling when you're building those relationships and you're making a difference. We talk a lot at HOA.com about community impact. And I know you're passionate about being a charity champion and integrating charity into everything you're doing. And so that's why we love to teach being a charity champion in your local community, because now you get all of that. And it's so rich and fulfilling, isn't it?
Oh, yeah, absolutely it is. And, I don't know why people just want to, well, I'm talking a lot about right now, as we're here in January. And for those that are in beautiful areas like you are, you don't have to worry about snow, but people have a tendency to hibernate during this period of time, and it's just a slower period of time. And so I'm really just focusing on, sharing with people, listen, if you focus now, you will accelerate your business. So focus and accelerate instead of hibernating, right? Because when you come out and you stretch, you're like, oh, it's spring and now the market's coming to me. Everyone else is going to be busy. At least we hope they are. And I think the biggest challenge we have is waiting for rates to drop, waiting for sellers to sell, waiting for buyers to buy, waiting for recession to go. I mean, the inflation to go away, and maybe the recession because rates will go down. Waiting. That's our biggest challenge right now. Waiting.
Yeah.
And we have to, if we had those relationships, there would be no peaks and valleys with your business. It would be ebb and flow. It would just be ebb and flow. And that's how you fill in those valleys, is by working with people that have no impact on whether the market's hot or not.
Absolutely. And we reap what we sow. And now is the time that you sow. When you think about, the winter months, this is typically a barren time, right? But the people that are going to succeed in 2023 and beyond are building those relationships right now. They're offering as much value as they can. And they're going to their realtors and they're saying,
you just froze.
They want.
Yeah, you just froze. I don't know why you're freezing twice now.
Okay. Well,
your
that's
turn.
All right. So I know you and I could talk all day, every day.
Yeah.
And we could be talking for hours, but you've got a limitless class tomorrow. And so I just want people to have the information so that they can come join you if they're able to. And not only are you doing this January 4th and 5th from 12 to 5 p.m. Eastern. So that's what you've got going for the next 2 days. And then in addition to this, if they're unable to make this, or maybe if you're watching this in the future, right, Jen, your next virtual limitless event is going to be March 28th through 30th. So how do people find out about it? How do they sign up?
Yeah. Well, and by the way, we have them every quarter. So they're either virtual or in person. It's a 3-day workshop is what it is. That's what we're doing at this. So we've already finished day 1. Tomorrow we'll have day 2 and then day 3. Dave Savage is going to be speaking on day 3. And so is my daughter. Yeah. Big surprise. Yeah. So they're both going to be speaking on day 3. But we are the best way to sign up for it is just go to jenduplessis.com/limitless event. And you can sign up there. And I don't know why I'm having a little bit of a brain fade right now. Maybe because I've been talking for 6 hours today.
That could be.
It might be limitless. and not event, but it is definitely on my website. If you have any problems or challenges with that, you can email me at Jen du Plessis, and I'll be happy to get you the correct link. But I'm pretty sure that
JenDuPlessis.com.
JenDuPlessis.com. Yep.
Yeah. And we'll make sure and put it into the notes too for this, those that are watching.
Yeah, when we're done, I'll make sure we have the right one. I don't know. I just talk about it, right? I talk about it. But yeah, we'd love to have you. It's a free event. We have one of my students actually brought her entire Keller Williams office. They are all sitting in a room and watching this together. And I kept saying, you want to bring all of your partners, not just realtors, not just, but everybody in, so that you all can talk the same language, and it gives you a reason to speak with them over the next quarter or more, to really bond those relationships. So bring your colleagues, bring your team, bring your, friends and all of that, because it's very generic enough that, anybody in any business, any entrepreneur and any business owner, any sales professional, title company should be there as well. Everybody should be there.
And it's about living life by design and getting really intentional about your plan for 2023. Guys, this is the time to build your foundation. Build those rock solid relationships that are going to lead to the raving referrals that pay you dividends for years to come. And do what other people are unwilling to do, which is do the work. It starts with the planning. It starts with that mindset that Jen was talking about. Get crystal clear on what you want to accomplish and achieve and experience, and then create the plan. And that's what Jen's going to talk to you about. That's what she's going to guide you through. So sign up for her Limitless event. You can go to JenDuPlessis.com. We'll make sure and put the link here as well, and so that everybody can join you and learn from your mastery. And Jen, you're just always so amazing. Is there any last thought that you want to leave people with? When 2020 came about, everyone was talking about the roaring 20s, we're going to call it the roaring 20s. And I said, well, how about if we call it the soaring 20s? Right. And so I've been calling it the soaring 20s ever since it started. And I'm not a pessimist. I'm an optimist. There are so many opportunities. People are being orphaned by their loan officers. They're being orphaned by their realtors. Because there's self-selection that's happening now. There's a right sizing of the industries. And this is the time to nab everybody up. People are looking for relationships because they had been orphaned. So adopt the relationship, adopt their business, help their business grow. This is the perfect time to be doing that. And like I said before, don't hibernate, hyper focus, right? Focus now so you can accelerate through this year into the soaring 20s. And I know that 24 and 25 and beyond are going to be unbelievably exceptional. Absolutely. Well, thank you, Jen, so much for sharing your time with us. We know that there's projected to be 5 million real estate transactions that close this year, guys. So the opportunity is out there, just like Jen is saying. You just need to go out there, build those relationships, and come to Jen's class. Come find out how you can be limitless, live life by design, and invite your referral partners. Invite the people that you're really building your business with, and not only your business, but your life. People that you love to hang out with that are just fun. And Jen, I put you at the top of the list. Every time I talk to you, I feel inspired, empowered, and excited about living this amazing life by design. So thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
With us.
Thank you. Good luck this year. Yep.
We'll see you guys. Thank you.